Hey guys, it's Tim Miller from the Bulwark. Subscribe to the feed. We've got breaking news. The House of Representatives has come to a deal on the continuing resolution. There will not be a government shutdown for Christmas this year. Good news for those of us who are traveling a lot and going to have to deal with TSA agents. Better news for the TSA agents themselves who are going to actually get paid, even though Elon Musk was planning to screw them over and all the other government workers because he was on, some K-fueled late night high of megalomania where he needed to get positive feedback from strangers on the internet. But here is the breakdown of what actually happened. And I think it's interesting because we've been talking all week. You've been seeing on the feed. The Democrats have been letting these guys hang out to dry. The Republicans can't get the votes. The Democrats are acting a little different. In the past, Democrats have always bailed them out. But this time they've been, sort of making them walk the plank a little bit. Well, finally today, Friday, at the last second, the Democrats once again came to Republicans' rescue. And I want to talk about that strategic choice by Hakeem Jeffries, because I think it's not crystal clear whether it was smart or not, right? Like politically speaking. And I want to kind of go through the thinking here so you can understand what was happening. Republicans, in order to get this through, there were 34 no votes in the Republican conference. Republicans have a very narrow majority in the House, less than 10. So 34 was way more no votes than they could have possibly sustained in order to keep the government open. They initially had cut this deal with the Democrats that included a lot of stuff that still didn't make it into this final deal, like childhood cancer research, which my colleague Sam Stein talked about in another video. If you want to hear more about that, it's sad that got cut out of this bill. So they'd cut this deal with the Democrats because Mike Johnson knew he couldn't have the votes. And then Elon blows that all up, because it's too filled with pork or whatever. And so, then Republicans are fighting amongst themselves for a few days. Then you get to this point today where Mike Johnson goes back to Speaker Jeffries, with a bill that's what they would call a pretty clean CR. That means it's continuing to fund the government at current rates. It's paying for it's extending the farm bill because farmers need farmers insurance and other things that were timely that we've discussed this week. You needed money for emergency relief for people suffering from hurricanes, particularly North Carolina, but all around the country. And so, that is the clean version. It didn't get the thing Donald Trump really wanted, which was about abolishing the debt limit so that he could spend as much money as he wanted and cut as much taxes on rich people as he wanted, because he thinks that'll boost the economy. And so, so they took away the thing Trump really wanted. They kept the core tenets here of the funding bill, but they didn't get to include some of the things that some Democrats wanted. So then the question for Democrats is, do you bail the Republicans out? They had 34 no votes. Had the Democrats held the line and said, no, we're not going to support this, then the government would have shut down tonight. And my basic takeaway on this is, we discussed this earlier this week on The Next Level with Sarah and JVL. We gamed this all out. And I came down on the side of it's a tougher call this time because Democrats still have the Senate, Chuck Schumer. Biden is still the president. And so it would have, who was to blame for this Christmas shutdown? It would have been Elon Musk and the Republicans, but it would have been a little debatable. It would have been a little murky, right? They would have had a point if they said, actually, it's the Democrats who are to blame. They would have been wrong, but they could have made that argument. And people would have suffered. There would have been real suffering right at the holidays. And so if you're the Democrats, it's not a clean political win. It was a political win, but not a clean one. You care about humans. You care about human suffering, unlike Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And so you don't want people to suffer around the holidays. And so you have to make this decision. Do you bail the Republicans out one more time or not? And they decided to do so unanimously. All the Democrats voted for it. In the end, here, let's pull up how Jake Sherman described this over at Punch Bowl. 196 Democrats voted yes. That's all who showed up. 0 voted no. The Republicans did not get their debt ceiling. Trump asked for one thing. He did not get it. So, again, if you're the Democrats, you look at this, it's a loss for Trump. You can help out regular people. And the political win maybe isn't quite as potent as it could have been if the Republican shit show continued all through the holidays. But you'd also have this, kind of the real life ramifications hanging over you. My view, considering all of that, considering that lay of the land, is that the Democrats probably did the right thing, but this needs to be it. Like, this is it. This is the message to Mike Johnson and the Republicans. You're not getting bailed out again. Come January, Republicans will have total control of Washington. They'll have very narrow control of the House of Representatives. It's going to be, I mean, guys, if you thought this week was a shit show, at some point before they're, in January, February, and March, before some of these special elections happen, Republicans are going to have like a 2-seat majority in the House. They lost 34 people on this vote today. They're going to need to have unanimity in that insane caucus of crazy arsonists and nihilists. They're going to need to have unanimity to pass anything. It's going to be a huge uphill lift for whoever the speaker is. I think that Mike Johnson's speakership is still really in doubt. And so they're going to have to elect a speaker. There's some reporting from Breitbart and other right-wing outlets. I was with Steve Bannon earlier today and interviewed him, which you can go read on the Bulwark's website. And during that interview, Bannon wants to get rid of Mike Johnson. So a lot of these MAGA media outlets want to get rid of him. So they come back in January now. They've got to elect Mike Johnson. That could be a cluster. Then there's the inauguration happens, and then they're going to have to pass a reconciliation. Then they have to fund the government again in March, and like all this stuff starts happening very quick for the Republicans, and they don't have an infrastructure to actually get any of this done. I mean, governing by Elon Musk's whims and tweets, we see how that goes. And so if I'm the Democrats, I'm thinking, all right, well, next year it's all on you guys. It's all on you. You say you want you say you got a mandate. You say you wanted a landslide. It's not how I describe it, but that's what you say. It's on you now. You do it. No more training wheels. No more bailouts. If you can't keep the government open, shut it down. See what the American people think about that. That would be my posture from the Democrats. We'll see if the Democrats have the backbone for that. I was encouraged that they, showed a little spine this week. Didn't play the hardest ball they could have played here in the final days. But for the reasons I laid out, I think that was defensible. It wasn't quite as clean of a spot to play hardball. Next year, next March, when this comes up, no mercy. No mercy. If the Democrats bail these guys out in March on this feed, on this Bulwark feed, I'm going to be railing against any Democratic House member that even considers bailing them out if it happens next spring. So that's kind of how I assess the situation. I think we can all have a happy holidays now. I'm taking a brief vacation. You're gonna see a lot of me. You're gonna see a lot of me in 2025. Subscribe to the feed. But I'm gonna take a little vacation next week. Be with the family. Be with the kiddo. Get on the mountain. Get some of that fresh air. I think a lot of these Democrats wanted that too. Clear their head. Clear their head for the fight. The fight is coming in 2025. It's got to be the last time that Democrats help Republicans clean up their own mess. They got to clean up their own room going forward. We'll see how that shakes out. I'm not too optimistic for them or for America, frankly. But that's kind of that's a dark way to end. It's real, but it's dark. So let's end on a positive. Merry Christmas to everybody. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. I'll be back here on this feed checking in with you from time to time. And then we'll be seeing you a lot in 2025.